today we're talking about a country going through a huge amount of change. Syria in the Middle East is in the news because the family that have ruled it for 50 years have been removed from power. Here's Emma Louise on what you need to know.
The news from Syria this week has gone all around the world. In the UK, many Syrians came out onto the streets to celebrate the overthrow of the Assad family, who ruled the country since the 1970s. To understand what's happened, you need to know a bit about what's gone on in Syria over the last 13 years. In 2011, there were protests calling for more freedom in the country. The president, Bashar al-Assad, crushed these protests. A war began that became very brutal. Extremist Islamist groups fought the government, and sometimes each other. It wasn't a war between two sides, but it was the people caught up in it who suffered. Millions of people fled the country, including some refugees who came to the UK. Many of them were children when they left. And now, the ruler who started the war is gone. But what might that mean for Syrians now?
Hi Newsround, I'm Florence Dixon and I'm a journalist who focuses on news in the Middle East. There have been several days of emotional celebrations in the streets of Damascus, the capital of Syria, after rebel fighters took control and drove out the former president, Bashar al-Assad. People danced on top of military tanks abandoned by the army, and you could hear cars beeping and crowds chanting things like freedom, and you could see many people holding back their tears because of how overwhelmed they felt. Many people have also travelled to the prisons in the city to try and find their loved ones who'd been locked up for many years. And in many cases, this wasn't because they'd committed any crimes, but it was simply because they disagreed with the former president. But not much is known about this rebel group who've taken over. They've promised to create a free and fair Syria where all kinds of people can live together in harmony, but they face a huge challenge in rebuilding and reuniting a country that's been at war for more than 12 years. Some people also fear that they'll impose harsh laws and punish people who don't obey. This group's also been involved in ruthless fighting with other groups as well as the army. So many people feel like they can't trust what they say now.